So let's all just come into our space and find our weight over both feet. And let's begin in a way similar to how we have frequently been beginning. So finding a really narrow parallel. So for me, that means that actually there's a little space between my heels, but the balls of my big toes are actually very lightly in contact with one another. And in this position, let's just stand here for a moment, open your eyes. Depending on where you are, this is a different point in your day. We're going to talk us through this and we'll do it together. But standing in that parallel with your eyes closed, noticing how your weight is distributed over the soul.
Budgetary numbers look like as a
release your belly here, just let your abdomen hang, and notice the position that your pelvis likes to take at this point in your day on this Tuesday, the Cinco de Mayo. So with your eyes closed, just noticing your weight over your feet, sensing that, and without correcting it, noticing any asymmetries right and left. Taking a couple of breaths here, and notice as well if this is static for you or if there is movement in this standing position. And just gradually taking your weight over to your left foot, keeping the right foot on the floor, eyes are still closed, and just soften the right knee so your left foot becomes heavily weighted. Notice the shift in your pelvis. And then extend your right knee to find center again. Pelvis over 2 feet. Bending left knee and letting the weight come into the right leg. Noticing how the pelvis may shift.
Perfect.
And then pressing the floor away with the left. Let's take one more time like that each side. So right knee bends. Left leg becomes weighted.
So how about this? I've looked
and
Annika, can I stop you for a sec? We need that someone's thing is not muted, so we're hearing, we can't hear you very well because we're hearing something else. So
okay.
Sorry, I was having a hard time hearing.
Yeah, no, thank you for letting me know.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. I opened my eyes to see all of your faces. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so let's come into parallel and find your weight over both feet. So again, narrow parallel. We're going to look at why. And with your eyes closed, you're going to sense where your weight is distributed over the soles of your feet, noticing any asymmetries without trying to change them. And from here, notice as well if there's any motion. Belly is released. Pelvis may or may not be riding upright on femurs. Mine happens to be tilting forward a little bit, a little anterior tilt. That may be true for others, or you might find a posterior tilt. And letting your right knee bend, you're going to fill your left foot with weight. And notice the corresponding shift of your pelvis, whatever that may be. And then pressing into the right sole of foot to extend right knee. Pelvis comes back to center, both feet are weighted. Bend your left knee and fill your right foot. And from here, pressing down into left foot to come back to center. And one more time each side, right knee bends, left foot fills. Noticing the corresponding shift of pelvis. And press down firmly into the right leg to extend the knee. Notice that impact on your pelvis. And left knee bends, right leg fills. And pressing down into left foot to extend left knee and center pelvis. Taking a second, noticing where your weight is over your feet once more. Has it changed from the first time we checked in? And now shifting pelvis over to left leg. Bend right knee, but keep pelvis level. Bring right foot just gently off the floor, maybe just an inch. And then bring that foot back down. And centered pelvis shifts to right leg. And left knee bends, pelvis stays level. And float the foot off the floor. Eyes are still closed. And bring the left foot down. We're going to take this one more time each side. Noticing the challenge of this activity. Weight shifts over left foot, pelvis stays level. Right knee bends to float the foot slightly off the floor. Where do you feel the wavering of this movement? And bring that right foot down. Shifting pelvis over right foot and bending left knee to bring left foot off the floor. And left foot down and then live. Let's do this one more time each side. So noticing now as you shift yourself, stable upright pelvis over left leg, right foot peels off the floor. Has the degree of waver changed? And bring that foot down. Have you begun to develop a strategy for this? And shifting over right foot, pelvis stays stable and level. Bending the left knee and peeling the left foot off the floor. What is the imprint of right sole of foot? Where is the wavering? What are your strategies? And bring that foot back down. From here, let your eyes open, and we're going to fold forward from the hips, softening the knee, and then releasing the head down. So now we're going to forward fold over both feet, and just shifting your weight to your right foot, keep the left foot down, and then back to center. Shift your weight to your left foot, keep the right foot down, and center. Both feet stay on the floor. One more time, shifting to right foot. It's a small movement. Notice how that changes the sensation in your support leg. And center, shifting your weight to your left foot. Your right foot lightens its load on the floor. And center, roll all the way up to stand. One more time, plie, pelvis rolls forward over thighs. Head hangs heavy. And this time, shift your weight to your right foot and begin to bend your left knee until only the ball of the foot and toes are on the floor. And then bring that down. Shift your weight to your left foot, bend your right knee. Only ball of foot and toes on the floor. And down one more time, weight coming into right foot. Before you do anything with the left foot, notice the change in the work in the right leg. Then bend the left knee to come to the ball of that foot. And down last time, shifting your weight to your left foot, bending your right knee and finding your weight over that left leg. And bringing that down. From this position, both feet in that narrow parallel, lengthen out through your spine, find a flat back. You're in a deep hip flexion. And in this flexion, take a moment and actually just look at your knees. Look at your knees, look at your thighs. And notice if you're having any sense of slight outward bracing, which you might also be able to perceive in your feet. Or if you're having a sense of letting the thighs fall in. Looking down at your feet and your knees, second toe in line with center of kneecap is going to give us a sense of center of hip joint. From here, get that sense that that center of hip joint is going to draw back further. So in my body, and probably in many of your bodies, what that's going to look like is a slight back and up reach of the sit bone. And then release the upper body down, roll all the way up to stand. And come and find wherever your runway is. So your longest path for travel. Folding forward here and walking your hands out. So remembering that sense of center of second toe, center of knee, center of hip joint. And if I were to stand and look at that center of hip joint, if I draw the knee up, it's going to be just kind of maybe 2 inches away from the center of my chest. So as we take this bear crawl, knee is going to fall in line with those joints. So rather than having it come wide. So folding forward, taking the hands out and taking a big bear crawl across your space. Whenever you get to the other side, you're simply going to reverse that action. We're going to take this a couple of times. So hips are high. You're pressing back with the hands when you take the reversal. And every time you come to the end of your runway, set up that sense of those sit bones, that hip, really deeply creasing and taking your flat back to roll all the way to your vertical. Before repeating again, folding forward and taking a big, juicy crawl, large steps, looking for what feels useful. And as you go back, a big press from your hands. Long steps back, finding the parallel of your feet, and the sit bones reaching back again before rolling up. Now, again, that's going to be a different point in space for each of us. One more time, folding forward And taking these long steps, hips nice and high, crawling across your space. And then coming back. Finding your parallel. And sit bones reaching back. Rolling forward in the spine to come to vertical. From parallel again, wherever you are, you're going to take that forward fold. Take your hands onto your pelvis. And head can be released down a little bit. I'm going to shift my weight to my right foot, and now I'm going to pick up my left foot and bring it down. Shift my weight to my left foot, and you can do this with me, and pick up the right foot and down. Shifting my weight to my right foot, as I pick up the left, I'm going to try to notice any movement in my pelvis. And down, weight into left foot, picking up right, noticing the shifting of my pelvis and the work in that support leg. So it's a big increase. Shifting to right, let's take a flat back now. Keep the pelvis level and pick up the left foot. And down, shifting weight to left foot, lengthening spine, pick up right foot, pelvis level, and down, one more each side. Keeping the hip crease really deep on your support leg, just floating that foot off the floor, and down, and picking up right foot, and down. Roll the spine up to vertical, staying in plie, push the floor away to come to center. From here, we're going to take our runway one more time. Let me demonstrate once. I'm going to take the same bear crawl, big step forward into parallel. This is the moment to check whether or not your hips are level. Transferring weight to that foot now in a different organization than we just did. And rolling up to stand. So energy comes up the front of my pelvis, down the back. These shoulders go for a ride. One more time. As I come down, simply crawling the hands out. As I take my weight to the foot, checking to see if my two hips are level, pressing off back toes to come onto new support leg, and then just simply letting the weight of my pelvis drop down and back, and that's going to bring my head up over my leg. Same thing forward. As I come back, I simply brush the leg back and roll up again. Okay, I'll do the first two with us. So rolling all the way forward, walk your hands out, and let's take the right foot forward, big step, square your hips, and roll up to stand, pressing down into the floor, letting your eyes come up to find a horizon. And then hinging forward at the hip, large step out, weight comes onto left, pelvis level, and pressing down to let the pelvis roll to the vertical. And continuing at your own pace in your space. Crawling forward. So letting yourself have a little more energy through your gesture leg, Anna. As you go. Yes, exactly. Good. And right sit bone back more as you come down, Chelsea, just a little bit more. Or support sit bone. Good. Same idea for you, Akira, that hip can fold a little bit more deeply as you come down. Good. And good. Taking each side maybe 2 more times. Rolling up over your foot. Pelvis square. And noticing the rate at which your hip and knee extend. So let the pelvis come up more before the knee straightens all the way, Ashley. Yes. So the support leg is in plie, and as the pelvis rolls forward and up,
That hip is going, that's it, perfect, yeah. So it's a subtle difference, exactly. Okay, and everyone just come to rest. Okay. Let's come into a forearm plank. So we're going to get a little bit of work going for our abdominals. I'm going to just demonstrate from this angle. So finding a forearm plank with your arms in a sort of sphinx position. My feet are about 5 inches apart. From here, I'm going to rotate heels to one side, come back to center, the other side, back to center, and we'll add some bells and whistles. So I will talk us through this. So come on down and find this forearm plank position. Bringing yourself to a little sphinx and then rounding your back to press it up. Once you find that position, get a sense of length through the crown of your head and the soles of your feet. Feet are about 5 inches apart. And pressing down into your forearms so you have space between your shoulder blades. Let's pivot our heels to the right so we come to the edges of our feet and continue to press the floor away, feeling the right side of the body kind of enliven. And then come back to center. Rotate the heels to the left and press the floor away. And come to center. Each side, 2 more times. Rotating the heels to the right, pressing down into your arms, the edges of your feet, and continuing to lengthen through the crown of your head and your tail. And center, over to the left, pressing into the edges of the feet and pushing the floor away. And come to center. And one more time each side, rotating heels to the right, pressing the floor away actively. And center. And to the left, pressing down, 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 lengthening out. And center. Come all the way down onto your belly. Rest your forehead on your hands for a moment. Taking a deep breath, just notice the work that you've done. Still with your forehead resting on your hands, lengthen out through your legs, your elbows and your head to come into spinal extension. So floating off the floor, keeping your hands on your head, rotate your chest up to the left and through center and up to the right, through center, up to the left, center, up to the right, center, each side again, up to the left, and center, up to the right, and center, come down, rest, take a breath. Notice how your rate of breathing has changed. Your temperature is likely different than it was a few minutes ago. Bringing your arms back into the Sphinx position. From Sphinx, again, roll tailbone down. Engage your glutes lightly, bend your knees, tuck your toes under, and lift your hips up off the floor. Taking your heels over to the right. Get that sense of pressing the floor away in length through the crown of your head, and just lift your left leg up, and then bring it down. Very small bend of right knee, and bring the foot off the floor and place it back down. Again, lift left leg off, and down. Bend right knee, and down. Bring the heels over to the other side. Keeping that sense of length and pressing the floor away, lift right leg off, and down, pressing into right outer inner edge of foot, bend left knee, and down. Lifting right leg off, and down, bend left knee, and down. Come to center, all the way down, and rest. Take a breath. I'm just going to check in and see if we have any questions about any of that. Questions? Anna, yes.
When working in Sphinx, I find that my elbows start kind of like slipping out, and I'm thinking that's probably from like the scap wing situation, but is that just like a strengthening that needs to happen to bring the shoulders down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So if your scapula or if your elbows are slipping out, a couple things, you might look at the surface and whether or not you're in a slippery situation and give yourself a little bit more traction. But the other thing is it's going to require a coordinated strength to continue to have that sense that you are
drawing the scapula around and kind of getting a little tension between those forearms for that position. And that can have to do with issues of strength or also issues of hypermobility. So do it to the degree that you can and rest when you need to. So we're gonna take that same thing one more time, and then I'm gonna add on a little bit more. So coming back into the same position, in fact, I'm gonna watch you guys for this next one. So set yourself up in your Sphinx position and engage those abdominals and press yourself up to your forearm plank. And good. Feet are a little bit wide and rotate your heels to the right and come to those edges of the feet and keep that sense of length and pressing the floor away. And now lift your left leg up. Draw your abdominals in a little bit more, Sarah. And then bring that foot down and just bend your right knee to lift the right foot lightly off the floor. The bottom leg and down. And come through center, taking the hips over to the other side. And you're going to lift your top leg up, small lift, and bring it down. And then bend your bottom knee to just lift the bottom foot lightly off the floor. And down. Take your hips through center. One more time each side. Take the heels over to the right. Lift top leg. And down. Take your hips, bend your bottom knee to lift that foot up off the floor. And through center, come to the other side. And you're going to lift top leg lightly off the floor. And down, and bend bottom leg just a little bit. And reach it back down. Come to center and rest. Come down to your bellies. Okay, from here, we're gonna take a spinal extension. So watch once, lengthening out, lifting legs and arms and chest off the floor. I'm gonna side bend the upper body to the right to come to a side lying position on my right side. Taking my left leg across into a rond de jambe, then I'm going to lengthen it back from here, sweep back to my belly. I'm going to flex my spine. So I'm looking at my navel, my arms come back, extend, other side, side bending left. The top leg rond de jambes, it stays off the floor. My shoulders are over my hips, and I'm looking out and up. The leg reverses, I come through arabesque, lengthen onto my belly, flex to look at my abdominals, reach my hands back, reverse the arms, and we'll go to the other side. I'll do the first couple with you. Any questions, or we're good? Great, okay. Taking that spinal extension, and I'm gonna side bend right, onto right side. From right side, left leg comes up and over, rond de jambe, looking to the left. Reverse through arabesque, lengthen onto my belly. Flex, look at my navel, and lengthen out again. Side bend the left. Come onto left side, right leg, rond de jambe. And reverse, taking that leg into arabesque, lengthening smoothly to my abdomen, looking to my navel, and out. One more time, I'm gonna do it with you to the right, and leg comes up and over the top. Keeping that top leg off the floor, energy up through fingertips, onto my abdomen. Spinal, thoracic, really mostly thoracic, and cervical flexion, and lengthen out again. Last time, and then I'm gonna come watch. Lengthening to left, rond de jambe, right leg, shoulders stacked right over hips, and reversing through arabesque, coming to my belly, taking that little flexion, and lengthen out. 2 more times each side. Side bending right, coming onto right side, and rond de jambe leg, and taking that back through arabesque, and taking your flexion, looking to your navel, diving the arms back, and then lengthening back out. Side bending left, and rond de jambe right leg, Good, keeping the shoulders over the hips and reverse through arabesque. Take that spinal flexion, looking to your navel. Nice, Emily. And take that back out. And one more side bend right. Feel those toes. How much length can you get? Shoulders right over your hips. And that leg leads back, energy in fingers and toes, gaze going towards your hand. Coming onto your abdomen, right leg a little higher, Chelsea. So now left leg a little higher, trying to find that match, yep. And side bend left for your last one. And that right leg is gonna take that rond de jambe, gorgeous. Keeping the foot off the floor, finding a useful level of hip flexion. And good, lengthening back into your arabesque. And coming onto your abdomen. Good, flexing. Seeing if you can round the upper back a little more, Sarah. Yeah, good, good. What's that feel like? That's an interesting one, right? And come all the way out and come down and rest. Okay. Do we have questions? No. Cool. All right, let's go on. Okay, I am spotlight. Okay, so we're gonna come now to our side. I'm gonna show this from the back. Sorry, from the side. So coming into a little X on the floor, I'll show a couple times and then we'll do it together. I'm gonna side bend to the right, drawing myself into a little ball, lengthen up. This leg is long. I'm going to reach my chest, rotate the chest to the support leg side, and then twist away, fold forward, lengthen out, and down. Let me show that a couple times. Coming over to the other side. I'm in hip extension on my gesture leg. Rotate my chest to the floor, rotate my chest to the ceiling. Now from here, I'm going to revolve in external rotation, that gesture leg in the hips. I'm coming to sit as tall as I can, pressing the floor away, reversing by tipping from right sit bone to left, lengthening the leg out, thread the arm under. There's my X. One more time, side bending right, coming up, reaching towards that extended leg. Turn my chest towards the floor, turn my chest towards the ceiling. Now I'm going to turn out as I press tall through my spine to come to a seated, who knows what this position is, and pressing down to tip from left sit bone to right to come back, threading that arm under and spiraling back onto my back. Clear-ish? Okay, let's give it a try. Great. I'm going to do the first maybe two with you. So coming onto your back in an X, we're going to roll onto our right side. Rolling over, reaching towards the left foot. Now reach the arms out and rotate your chest to the right. Rotate to the ceiling, to the left. Externally rotate left thigh. Come to seated. Press the floor away. Sit very, very tall. Now reach out to round on that leg back and come down onto your back. Other side, coming over to the left, reaching towards right leg, hip extension. And arms come out, turn your chest to the left, turn your chest to the right. Externally rotate and revolve to seated, pressing the floor away. And then tipping on those sit bones like a step and reverse to come back. I'll do each side one more time. You side bending to the right, coming up. And we're gonna revolve chest right. Revolve chest left, externally rotate, come to seated, pressing down to grow through the crown of the head, tipping from left sit bone to right, rond de jambe the leg, thread the arm onto your back, X, over to the left, right leg extends, and revolve your chest left, revolve your chest right, externally rotate, and find as much length through your spine as you can, and then tip and press away. Thread the arm, coming onto your back. Continue, 2 more times each side. Side bending right. And lengthening out. Rotating chest to the floor. And then to the ceiling. Keep energy going through the crown of your head, Emily. And then revolving around to find this seated position. And reverse rond de jambe to come down. Thread the arm through, and other side, lengthening, reaching towards the leg, rotating chest, revolve chest to ceiling, nice, Kate. And then pressing down. Where's your weight on your sit bones? Can you find more flexion in your hips? Yes. And rond de jambe to come back. Other side, one more each side. Side bending, rolling to the right, and lengthening through that leg. Energy through the crown of the head, Sarah, yes, all this time. And revolving, and rotating the leg, externally rotate. Now here, can you have more hip flexion? Tip your pelvis forward in front a little bit. Yeah, get more energy through the crown of your head. That's it, exactly. And revolve back. Rond de jambe to come to your back. Last time to the left. Rotating towards you, adjust your leg. And then spine twists towards the floor. Energy in those fingers, twist toward the ceiling. And then externally rotate as you come to the seated position. Chelsea, tip your weight forward on your sit bones more and press down. Up through the head, chin in. Yeah, there you go. And rest, coming down to your back. Find yourself lying on an X on the back and just breathe a little bit. Take a couple of breaths. Notice what that did for you. Good. And lying where you are, legs in parallel, just bring your feet, yeah, exactly, into parallel in a smaller X. Roll your sit bones under and tuck your tail just to bring your hips a little bit off the floor. So we're taking it just a baby supine bridge. Hamstrings curling to draw sit bones towards backs of thighs. And then release, come down. Good, okay. Rolling over to watch me, adding on to that idea. So I'm gonna take that same little supine bridge, scooping my tail under, rolling my hips up, my feet are as wide as my pelvis. From here, I'm gonna press off my left foot to take my arabesque. Adding on to something we just did, I'm gonna take a rond de jambe. My right hip is off the floor. I'm only gonna be able to go so far without letting my pelvis move up and down. So that is my limiting factor. Then I'm gonna rotate back, bend that knee, bring the foot down, and I'm going to draw both pelvic halves to that foot in a bent leg bridge. From here, you might have to adjust your footwear for this. You're gonna press that leg out, single leg bridge, right foot comes down. So looking at that on the other side from another angle, and Kate will have a modification for you, so you're not gonna do that attitude. So it's going to be a scoop under to find this little supine bridge. I'm going to push into my right heel to rotate myself to this left side plank arabesque. Rond de jambe, and it's only as far as I can go without becoming very unstable in my pelvis. And then I'm going to reverse my rond de jambe, arabesque, attitude, planting the foot. Now I'm going to bring both hips up into parallel, pressing out and down. Trying to keep this scoop the whole time, okay? So if you're having difficulty with the arabesque, the attitude, you're simply gonna come from your arabesque and bring the foot down, scoop under. That would be a less intense version. All right, I'm gonna do this with you. I think this is the best orientation. I'll do 2 times. So we're gonna alternate right, left. I'm gonna do it twice with you, and then you're gonna do it 2 more times on your own. So lying flat on your back, legs hip distance apart. Engage the abdominals and roll your pubic bone towards your chin. Scoop your sit bones under so they reach towards your thighs behind, and just bring the pelvis an inch off the floor. Press into left heel and externally rotate pelvis to turn to right side. You're on the meat of your right shoulder. Left leg reaches back in arabesque. Rond de jambe, keeping right hip stable. So take your time to see what that range is, what's the manageable range. And back to arabesque. Bend left knee, foot comes to the floor. Bring right hip into parallel, both hips level. Make sure you're still in the tuck in your lumbar spine. Press your left leg out. Right foot comes down, you're gonna scoop here, and pressing into the right foot, rotate pelvis to the left, extend into arabesque.
And what's your manageable rond de jambe? And take that back. Arabesque attitude, plant the foot, bring the left hip in line with right, press out with right leg, keeping the pelvis scooping under, left foot down. Press into left leg, rotate to the right, and manageable rond de jambe. And it might be different every time. Arabesque attitude, foot plants, scoop the tail under, and press out. Keep rolling into lumbar flexion. Press into right leg, roll to left side, arabesque. Manageable rond de jambe. Is it different than the last time? Mine is. And taking it back, attitude, and scooping tail under, pressing the leg out, keep the scoop, and 2 more each side, pressing into left foot, rotate to the right, arabesque.
And manageable rond de jambe. Is there such a thing? And reverse. And bend the knee, plant the foot, and bringing the pelvic halves together, and then press that foot away. And pushing into right leg, rotating to left side, arabesque. And rond de jambe. Plant the foot, bringing the hips together, scoop the pelvis under, press the foot away, and center. 1 more time each side. So taking that arabesque on the right side, left leg reaching back, taking the rond de jambe, and attitude, planting the foot in parallel. Bring the right hip up a little more, Chelsea. And then, yeah, pressing out, scoop the tail, press into your right heel, and back. Take that rond de jambe, plant the foot down, scoop the tail under, roll down. And when you finally come to your back, rest. Just let yourself feel your weight heavy on the floor for a moment. Good. Questions, comments, recipes, anyone? Yes, Akira, then Kate.
I know we just talked about this in one of the classes last week, but I kind of forget your answer, so I'm going to ask again. Or it wasn't me, but anyways.
That's cool.
When we do the first transition onto the side, so I know it drives from, let's say I'm going to the right, it drives from my left heel, and then it rotates my pelvis. With the arm, I feel like right now I'm really relying on this arm cutting through space to arrive there. Is that okay? Or should I think about more about this transfer through my body?
So that's a great question. And what I'd like you to do is, can you do it for me? And I'm going to coach you through it. So when you're pressing into that, so take your supine bridge, scoop your tail under and lift your hips up. And let's take your feet just a tiny bit wider apart, Kira. Yeah, there you go, for this exercise. Scoop the tail under now, and you're gonna press into left heel, externally rotate left leg, turning pelvis out to the right. And you're going to keep pushing until you have to come onto your right shoulder. Left arm is gonna be engaged at some point here. Yeah. Okay, come back. So come onto your back one more time. So what you may notice, bend your elbows. You'll notice that when I do this, my elbows are often bent like so, exactly. So do this again. And scoop under, press into left heel, and rotate to right. Pelvis externally rotates. Now about here, the left hand is gonna start going with. And come back onto your back. So what happened there, and I hope everybody could see that, this was really clear, I thought. When he did it the first time, you could see that there was this rotation, and then this kind of massive sequential movement through the spine in order to get that arm across. The second time, there was rotation, and then this became part of the activity that had been initiated here. So there wasn't this drag from the upper body. So, you know, that drag isn't wrong. It's just in this particular exercise, I'm hoping to get a sense of integration. So trying to get the arm engaged a little sooner is going to be good. Did that answer your question, Akira?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. And Kate, your question?
So what would be the muscles that you would really be honing in on in this exercise? Because I feel like I was in the wrong muscle group, and I just would like some direction.
Okay, cool. So asking the hard questions. I'm gonna do this once on one side, and I'm gonna try to talk to you as I do some of the major muscle groups that we're gonna be using. However, the sloppy but honest answer is that it's the whole body. It's a global activity. So, but that's sloppy. So let me give you a little bit more. So here, I am abdominals, scooping under hamstrings, maybe a little glutes, rotating external rotators, and those other things still keep working. Pressing off more, engaging all of that more hip extensor on this side than this one. Coming onto the side now, I've still got all my posterior hip muscles working here. I've got my right lateral hip muscles working like crazy to keep this from dropping. My right delts, my arm working, all of my core muscles working. And of course, most of my arm muscles. Rond de jambe, I'm getting into the hip flexors more and lateral hip on this side as well, while that still continues to work. Taking it back, I turn those off a little bit, they move into the stretch. Bending the knee, I bring that down. It's gonna be hamstring differently and stretch a hip flexor. Rotating now, I have to get the obliques working in a more dynamic fashion than we have so far, as I bring my adductors into play as well to bring this out. This massive, massive hamstring on that side, still abdominals getting that rotation, and hamstrings trying to help keep pelvis in tuck as I come back. So, did that help? Okay, awesome. And there's my cardio workout for the day, just even speaking through that. Okay, so any other questions or shall we move on? Great, okay. So, coming to a first position, I want to get us traveling a little bit again. So we're going to take a first position, folding forward. This is some familiar template. Take your weight onto your hands. My knees are off the floor. And for those of you joining for the first time, I'm in a little hovering position. My knees are up. I'm going to plie into the arms, reach back, flat back. My head is above my shoulders. From here, let's take the hands to the hips the first time. Take your weight onto your right foot and lift your left, trying to keep the pelvis nice and still. We'll shift our weight to the left foot and lift the right. Come to center. Roll pelvis to the vertical. Roll down. Catch the weight, and we'll go on. I'm going to talk us through this, so let's do it together. I'll be adding progressively for a little bit. So, find your first position. And let's make it a comfortable first, not an ornamental or ambitious first. Taking your plie, just rolling down the front of your body, catch your weight on your hands. Bend your elbows, load your arms, press back. Sit bones reaching back and up just as they did at the beginning of class. For this first one, bring your hands to your hips, shift your weight to your left foot, flex your left ankle more to lift the toes off the floor, and then bring that down. Find center again, sit bones reaching back. Take your weight to your left foot and lift your right foot off the floor and bring it down. Drop your pelvis, drop your tailbone down and back. Your pubic bone rises in front and simply press down as we did at the very beginning to extend the knee. Plie, roll forward, take your weight on your hands. Bend your elbows and press back, flat back again. This time, if you like, keep your arms reaching forward. Shift your weight to your left foot, pick up your right foot, internally rotate to parallel. Wherever it's just going to match that right support leg, externally rotate to match it in first. Take your weight to your left foot, reach your sit bones back, pick up your right foot, and float to your parallel. Externally rotate, bring the right foot down, drop the tail, find vertical pelvis, push into your feet to extend the knee. Folding forward, catch your weight on your hands. Pressing back. Again, hands can come to hips or continue to reach out. Take your weight to your left foot this time. Take your right foot off the floor. One more time, internal rotation exactly as we did. External rotation, right foot down. Sit bones reaching back, shifting weight to left, right foot, picking up left. Internal rotation, parallel. And like that, that's a lot of work in your posterior hip. Left foot down, dropping the tail, pelvis comes to vertical, push into the soles of the feet to extend the knees. Now push even further to lift the heels. Small releve and heels down. Let's take that one more time. Small releve, just getting that sense of the downward thrust, giving you energy up and out the crown of the head. And heels down. Plie, roll down the front of the body. Catch your weight on your hands. Press back, flat back. Shifting your weight to your left foot, pick up your right foot, and now float your right leg up behind you. From here, we're going to take a little rond de jambe, keeping that leg in a bent position as you bring it forward. Stay in plie on your left leg, arms reaching up. Reverse that pathway, let it be really low. So I'm going to keep my pelvis stable on my standing leg to the best of my ability. Folding back through that attitude, the foot comes down. Sit bones reach back. Let's fold forward, catch our weight on our hands. Press back, long flat back. Weight comes to the right leg, left leg lifts. Lifting it up in attitude behind you. Now the pelvis is going to come to vertical and that left thigh is going to fall under to come forward, similar to this activity we did sitting. And then reversing that, hinging forward from the hip. Left foot comes down. Release all the way forward. Take your weight to your hands. Plie the arms, press back. Taking weight to left leg, lift right. And this time, let your pelvis go with, so the whole body orbits on that standing femur to come forward. And then reverse it, whole body orbits to come back. Now find that square position in the pelvis before bringing the right foot down. Fold forward, catch your weight. Plie the arms. Press back. Lift left leg. Whole body orbits on right leg as you come forward. Whole body orbits. So I'm tilting everything off my central axis as I come back. Centering before bringing the foot down. Fold forward, catch your weight on your hands. Press it back. Right leg lifts. One more time, whole body orbiting. Letting it come off center, energy still going through the crown of the head. Whoa, coming back to find front. Pause in this position with your right leg forward. Tuck your tail. And now untuck it, reach your sit bone back so that you're in hip flexion. Now try to find center, where is that? Take the leg to the side, orbiting back. Pause here. And then sink into standing leg hip. Unsink and come back to that tilt. Take the leg all the way back and find square, bring the right leg down. Fold forward, catch your weight on your hands. Pressing back. Shift your weight to your right leg, lift your left leg up. We're gonna orbit energy through whole vertical axis as you stir yourself around to center. Again, we're gonna check in, where are we on our standing hip? Tuck your tail, and then come to center. Reach your sit bone back. Find center. And then coming back into your orbit, pause in the side. Sink into right hip. And then press back to your tilt. Continue the orbit, bring the leg behind. Close. Fold forward, weight on your hands. Press back, last time. Shift your weight to your right leg, lift your left leg. And we just did that side. Shift your weight to your left leg and lift your right leg. Keeping pelvis level now. So this time, that orbit is gonna happen low because we're gonna keep the hips just staying in vertical. Bringing the leg forward and then taking it back. So as you go through second, it's gonna be much smaller. Hinging at the hip, foot down. Catch your weight in your hands. Pressing back. Right sit bone reaches back. Lift the left leg. So this time it's not an orbit. The pelvis stays level and the leg just comes down, externally rotating forward and under Come to the front, reversing that path. There's a funny moment as it internally rotates to come behind. Leg reaches back, foot comes down, drop the tail, find that plie. Press down to extend the legs. Press down to let the heels peel off. Pull the heels together, keep the pelvis upright. One more time, press down to lift the heels. And peel the heels together to lower back down. Okay, so from here, let's add on to this a little bit. We're gonna take, traveling across the space, let's just really quickly take a couple of lunges to get our legs going. So I'm in an external rotation, my back heel is off the floor, pressing down energy out forward through the arms, and brush. Deep lunge, and brush. So joining in with me, find your runway. And take that small first position again. Lunging forward with the right leg, left heel off the floor. Try to get left hip forward. Push down into your right to come to standing on that leg. Tendu forward. Lunging left foot forward, right heel off the floor. Press into left foot to lunge right heel forward. And down. Pressing forward to come up. Energy out through your fingertips. And when you have to turn to go back, simply drawing the navel through you as you push off that front leg. So front leg is loaded like scissors together to come back. Trying to keep your shoulders riding right over your pelvis the whole time. And good. And rest. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate this, and then I'm going to come and watch you. So that sense of lunging, scissoring, our arabesque, our pelvis staying level, we've played with all of this. I'm going to take a lunge onto my right leg. Press off the left toes. From here, I'm going to bend that knee. Now I'm taking a little spinal extension as we did on the floor. I'm reaching my fingertips towards that foot in order to orbit to vertical, to drop that hip forward. From here, I'm plie on my standing leg. I'm going to extend that leg, rond de jambe, it comes low to lunge. Press off right toes, I'm over left foot. I've got this sort of yearning action. Spine extends, reaching for that back foot, dropping my pelvis under and coming forward externally rotated, plie standing leg. Extend the knee really simply, and then let that rond de jambe come low to brush through lunge. Taking that forward and back. So when you need to go backwards, you're simply just going to brush through. We're going to keep the pattern the same. Coming around, extend, rond de jambe. Extend. And we're going to still just rond de jambe, take the lunge back. So that's the difference. As it comes back, it just comes down into the next lunge. Push through. Make sense? I'm going to do the first one with you, and then I'm going to come and give you guys some feedback. So let's lunge our right leg forward. Arms are in opposition. Pressing off left toes and folding forward. Final extension, reach for those left toes with both hands, back of head, and then revolving around to bring that leg forward, opposition of the arms. Extend left leg, right leg is in plie. Rond de jambe, it comes low, and I lunge through. Press off right toes. Deep flexion of left hip. Yearning for the back space. Letting myself fall back to come to vertical. Staying in plie on standing leg, extend. Rond de jambe, leg comes low, and lunge. Continue, and I'm going to check in with you. So even with a bent leg, having some energy in the gesture. And Jason, in that standing plie, support the hip, a little more flexion. Take the sit bone back a little bit. And drop energy out down the right outside of your hip. So, perfect. That's it. Really good. And Coming forward. And right sit bone back, Akira. Right sit bone back. Yes, even more. So let your, the space between your right sit bone and right thigh can open a little bit. Really good. And staying in that plie on the standing leg. That's it, Nola. Bending the gesture leg, feeling the external rotation of that gesture leg, and how as it comes forward, there's almost a sense of it falling down to stay nicely tucked into the socket. So that left thigh is turning out, Anna. Right sit bone stays under you, left thigh is turning out, and left, yeah, it can be a little lower as it comes through second. That's it, good. That's beautiful energy with your spine there, Sarah. The back body wanting the foot. Good. Gorgeous. And everybody finish your second side, whatever that means. Good. And once you've completed that second side, you'll just come to rest. Great. Okay, any questions? Any comments? Observations? Nope. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording and then I'm gonna give us all a moment to say goodbye to each other.